Afoot to locate Danuna Tilakaratne, the son-in-law of Sarath Fonseca. Colombo Fort Magistrate Lanka Jayaratne issued an arrest warrant on Danuna Tilakaratne yesterday. This follows a request made by the CID. They said he was wanted in connection with the High Corp deal of allegedly supplying military hardware to the army when Sarath Fonseca was the commander. The CID is probing his whereabouts to arrest him. Defence sectors doubt if he had left the country, he would have done so using a fake passport. Sarath Fonseca's two daughters had already left the country earlier. Danuna Tilakaratne was summoned to the CID to give a statement. But the CID said he had forwarded an anticipatory bail application. The court, rejecting this application for bail, issued an arrest warrant. Meanwhile, a sum of 75 million rupees in local and foreign currency was recovered from 4 safety lockers belonging to the mother of Danuna Tilakaratne in a private bank. The safety lockers were opened in the presence of his mother Asoka Tilakaratne last afternoon. Accordingly, $527,000, 100 sterling pounds and 15 million Sri Lankan rupees were found in these lockers. Mrs. Tilakaratne had told the CID that the cash had been given by Sarath Fonseca to be placed in the safety lockers. Possessing more than $2,000 is a serious breach of law. Written permission had to be sought from the exchange controller if a sum more than this amount was to be kept in one's possession. If not, it had to be deposited in a bank account. This has been clarified by Exchange Controller of the Central Bank, PHO Chandravansa. He said that based on the special gazette notification issued by the Exchange Controller, a Sri Lankan can possess $2,000 or foreign currency amounting to this value. However, foreign currency purchased from an authorized agent or the currency remaining after returning from a foreign tour or a payment received for doing a service on behalf of a person abroad can be possessed. The maximum period that such foreign currency can be kept in possession is 90 days. Thereafter, this foreign currency should be deposited in a bank. If not, the exchange controller said it should be converted into Sri Lankan currency. He emphasized that a Sri Lankan has no authority to obtain foreign currency from another person. He added that such permission can be obtained after securing the authority of the exchange controller. President Rajapaksa has emphasized that he should be apprised of before any media personality is arrested on a certain allegation. The President, as Minister of Media and Information, laid this emphasis to the Inspector General of Police. The President instructed the IGP to enlarge on bail Lanka newspaper editor Chandana Sirimalwatta. The decision was taken on an appeal made by Victor Ivan. The President had a special discussion with heads of several media institutions. The meeting was organized at Temple Trees. Meanwhile, editor of the Lanka newspaper Chandana Sirimalwatta has been discharged. He was released by the Gangodavilla magistrate. The Mahasangha has underscored of their concern that certain groups with the purpose of achieving narrow political mileage were going against the country.
The motherland has been united, achieving a significant victory after an uphill dedication of 30 years. The dedication made by the Mahasangha, including the Mahanayaka Theras, the people and all communities, is enormous. The Mahasangha frequently delivered anusasanas to bring this notable victory to the motherland, showering their blessings and through proper guidance. Even the President frequently recalls these activities. However, the Mahasangha pointed out that they are very concerned of efforts made by certain groups to achieve narrow political gains by dragging the members of the Sangha into certain incidents that went against the law and the sovereignty of the country. It is important to be on alert over such persons and incidents who were attempting to achieve parochial aims through the Mahasangha. The Mahasangha reminisced the importance of expressing views based on various incidents that surface in the country. The Mahasangha also reminisced the honorary title of Vishwakirti Sri Tri Singaladheshwara conferred on the President who united the country. They also recalled the statements made by the Mahanayaka Theras at that time that the President should remain in power for the next 25 years. These views were expressed at a special gathering organized at the Malwatha Mahavihara. It was attended by members of the Mahasangha of the Malwatha chapter, including the Mahanayaka, the most venerable Tibbatuave Sri Sumangala Thera.
On more local stories, Commonwealth election monitors have said that the presidential election was a well-administered poll. Commonwealth Secretary General Kamalesh Sharma today released the final report of the Commonwealth team, which observed the recently concluded presidential poll.
The Secretary General was encouraged by the report's finding that the administrative arrangements for voting and counting were well conducted. He said the Commissioner of Elections and his staff across the country expended great effort to put in place procedures to ensure that Sri Lankans were able to cast their ballots. The Secretary General also expressed hope that Sri Lanka will move towards political and social reconciliation in the aftermath of the first post-conflict polls and in the lead-up to the forthcoming parliamentary elections. Before being made public, the report was distributed among the President of Sri Lanka, leaders of all political parties, the Commissioner of Elections and all Commonwealth governments.
Prime Minister Ratnasiri Wickramanayake has appealed to all countries in the world to rally round Sri Lanka and help her in achieving her development task. The Premier was speaking at the inauguration of an exhibition organised to mark the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the Ceylon German Technical Training Institute at Katubadda in Moratuwa. Speaking further, the Prime Minister said this.
May I appeal to the Ambassador, His Excellency the Ambassador of Germany. We are going through these changes for the betterment of the people of our country. We want to raise the standards of living of our country. And we want to develop, especially the northern and eastern provinces, which were neglected for the last 30 years. We have a tremendous task in our hands. We don't deny that. We are quite aware of our responsibilities and our duties. This is one venture we want to develop further, so that necessary training in this particular field will be available to more students from all over the country. We are eternally grateful to your country for all the assistance you have rendered in the past. We will remember that always. But in the solution of the many problems we are faced with, we are urging all our countries who are friendly towards us to rally around us and to do whatever they can for us to achieve the objective of the development of our country.
Minister of Transport Dallas Alahaperuma, Minister of Public Transport Lasantha Alagiyawanna, Secretary to the Ministry Tilak Kollure, Principal of the CGIIT Gamini Manchanayaka, German Ambassador Jens Uwe Plotner were among the distinguished gathering present. Continue until tomorrow is open to the public from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mementos were presented to instructors who had served the institute for a long period.
Namal Rajapaksa has pledged to be a strength to the program mooted by his father to make Sri Lanka the most developed country in Asia. He said a message had been given by the President to the world. A message was given that a leader who cares for the country and a bright future of the young generation should be re-elected. Such a significant service is lying ahead. That is to entrust the President a two-thirds majority in the parliamentary polls so that he could amend the parliamentary system of elections. Namal Rajapaksa observed that it is for this reason that the President has given an opportunity for youngsters to get on to the election stage. He was addressing a meeting of the SLFP Central Organization of Tissa Maharama. Ministers Chamal Rajapaksha, Professor G.L. Piris and Mahinda Amaravira were present. The future of all Sri Lankans is bright. Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe has said that the nation should unite to be a strength to the President's program.
The Minister was speaking at a special ceremony held at his ministry. It was organized on behalf of a donation of 5 demining machines and spare parts worth 250 million rupees. It is a gift from the Australian government. Australia's High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Kathy K. Klugman, handed over the donation to Secretary to the Ministry of Nation Building and Estate Infrastructure, W.K.K. Kumarasiri. These machines will be used for the removal of landmines from the north. UN resident representative in Sri Lanka, Neil Boone, was present.
The United Nations says that the comments made by former UN spokesman Gordon Weiss do not represent those of the world body. The Office of the UN Resident Coordinator said it had received queries regarding recent comments made by Gordon Weiss in an interview with Australian television. These views communicated to the media are his personal ones and do not represent those of the United Nations. The overall view of the UN on any particular situation comes from statements by the Secretary-General or other senior UN figures. A number of queries were made on Mr. Weiss's comments on civilian casualties. While we maintained internal estimates of casualties, circumstances did not permit us to independently verify them on the ground, and therefore we do not have verifiable figures of how many casualties there were. The UN remains committed to supporting the government of Sri Lanka in its efforts to rebuild communities and support peaceful solutions. Minister Samarasinghe said it was not worth commenting on his disclosure, which is completely misleading and false. Director General of the Media Centre for National Security, Lakshman Hulugallu.